Kyle reviewed. Like and subscribe.
Hey guys, just finished watching The Flash, Season 6, Episode 2, A Flash of the Lightning. So this episode was really fun, was really kind of good. The one thing I would have liked to see is a bit more focused on the Crisis storyline. Now, I feel like this episode was very kind of split 50-50. You had your Crisis storyline, and then you had this girl with like the radio wave powers and stuff, and dealing with that storyline. So that was okay. I guess they needed something for other people to do and stuff. But I would have liked to see in this episode be either 100% to Crisis, or even have it be 80% Crisis and then 20% this other storyline. Because at the end of this storyline and the end of this episode so far, all it ended up with is giving Iris a new intern who happens to have metahuman power. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go with this. We didn't get too much about was it Blood guy there? Rosso, Ramsey Russo, Rosso. So that's going to be quite interesting to see as to kind of where things go with him. Hopefully he ties into the Crisis, because they're still kind of slowly teasing him up. But it seems like very much right now that, this radio wave girl, this blood guy, this Ramsey guy, he's kind of very separate from the Crisis, and I don't like that. So I wish they would tease us right now as to how his connection is to the Crisis, how maybe the radio wave slowly and teasing us connections to that. Because if they do that at the beginning, then it cements it as a super connective part of the Crisis storyline. Whereas when they just go off and they do these things, they feel like they just, let's just write this thing in, and we'll wait till the last minute to actually connect it to there. And it just doesn't seem as strong as it would be as if the foundation, the beginning of the storyline was cemented in the Crisis rather than later on adding it in, So that's just the way I would like to see it, and rather than the foundation, it could be part of the foundation of Crisis rather than just later on, there's a little connection to the Crisis, right? So we start off this episode, we see that Russo kind of buys a gun, and then we just see him at the end of the episode kind of, playing, examining the guy he kills. He gets the gun and stuff with his powers, and the guy comes back to life. So, and that's kind of going to be interesting to see as to where things go. But hopefully, it has something to do with the antimatter. Maybe his powers, are can help stop the Crisis, or do something with the Crisis. So that'd be quite. Hopefully, there could be something interesting like that. But hopefully, they establish that early on rather than later. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things go. We see that Cisco turns off Killer Frost, kind of the Killer Frost voice and her eyes, so they don't have to CGI the eyes and do all that stuff. So she's just kind of just the makeup and all that stuff. So it's easier on them for the stuff there, which is interesting. But I kind of like that Killer Frost voice, the way they do it. And I wish they would keep that in the whole way. But I don't know. I guess they got to turn that off so that they want to have her around for everything. It just makes the episodes cheaper. We see that Frost is kind of really cold and stuff. She's not really had time to really interact with people a lot too much. She's kind of, she's doesn't always get social cues and things like that. So that'll be quite fun to play with that and expand upon Killer Frost. We see Barry goes to the future past Crisis, but he can't actually run there because there's a wall of antimatter that stops him from doing that. So that's cool. We see that Jay is married to Joan Williams, which is actually a doppelganger of Nora Allen. So that's quite interesting there. We see that vibe. Then we see that he sends his consciousness into the future to see what's what the Crisis is, to see past the Crisis. And he sees everyone dying, the wall of antimatter, which is disappointing that we didn't get anything of other characters or anything like that, because I feel like you could easily have shown, Oliver, all the other characters from all the other shows, Supergirl and all that stuff, is just do it on a green screen, so they don't have to leave their set, even though they all, interchange, they probably use all the same sets and stuff sometimes for these shows, especially the same green screen areas, right? You could easily just have Flash, or you could easily just have Arrow, Supergirl, some of those, even just the supporting characters, if Stephen Amell's busy, the main characters are busy, you could even have, would have been a perfect opportunity, because they've already have all kinds of photos all over of Lila Michaels not Pariah, but Lila Michaels as Harbinger. They could have easily teased something like that, teased Lila Michaels. They could have had supporting cast members or even some of the cast members from the other shows as, just in front of green screens, showing them in their town getting, getting sucked away, right? Even just you just take a supporting cast member, you put them in the middle of their city, and you see them getting wiped away. They don't have to be on the same set as the Flash characters, That would have been something cool to see that, just to show more than just the Flash characters. Even if it would have been just a very quick scene, just in a green screen, it's all it would have needed, right? So that was kind of cool there, but it was cool seeing Vibe there. So that'll be quite interesting to see. Does Cisco just put on the Vibe costume because because of the symbol that it wears? Hopefully not. Hopefully he actually gets his powers back at some point. So that could be something interesting to see. Maybe he, as things build up, maybe he's like, because his powers are going to be so useful to be able to go through time, to go through all these different Earths, to collect all these different characters. And I feel like they're going to need him to do some sort of Endgame style Doctor Strange, battle scene at the end in the middle of Crisis. And having him with his powers will be so much easier to do that than using these tech, because we haven't seen these tech open up more than one portal at a time. So having him with his powers, calling in all kinds of reinforcements of, all the different shows that have been announced to cameoing and coming into this this crossover, having an Endgame style setup with Cisco would be amazing. So hopefully this is a tease of him eventually getting his powers back. Because I'm not sure if I like him without his powers, and he's okay. I just don't want to go back to him, a mixture of him with powers without. So I want to see the original Cisco that we had in the beginning, the one who was naming everything, making everyone's costumes and all that stuff. Whereas now you got, you had, as the end, most recently you kind of had, he became more of a downer guy, and less kind of jovial, less kind of funny, less kind of, referencing and all this stuff. He does it here and there because it's still his personality, but he's just kind of turned down. So if we can get him back to Cisco the first season, being silly, making these jokes, making up names and all this stuff with his powers, that would be something interesting I'd like to see. So we see Barry tells Iris that he can't stop the crisis. He can't do it. She thinks he's giving up, but he's just like, dude, this is the reality. If it comes down to it, I'm going to sacrifice myself for everyone else, for all billions of people out there in the multiverse and all that stuff. We see that there's, like I said, the girl with the radio waves. Barry is Barry's fighting this girl with radio waves, and he's running into her blast, and it's just like, I understand maybe he might feel like invincible because he's destined to die later on, and he cannot destined to die now. So that'll be something interesting to play with that. But him running directly into the radio waves is a bit silly. Him running around, maybe if he got blasted and then dodges it, but running directly into it is just kind of silly, kind of stupid. Him zigzagging and maybe getting a partial hit, and partial hits as he dodges, like he's running straight, he's running at her, and then she blasts him, and he dodges, but it still hits his shoulder, and he keeps going. See, that would have been way more interesting than just running straight down the beam of it. Now, if you also Google it, I Googled it because I wanted to see how fast the radio waves travel, and they travel pretty much at the speed of light, so it's just a little over 300,000 kilometers an hour. So, he was injured from the stuff he did with Jay and Jay's wife and all that stuff, and he's kind of not at full speed. So those light, the speed of light power should be the blast should be a bit faster than him because he's not at his fastest, right? He's not in full peak at this point in this fight. But then we see, the person shooting it, we haven't established that she has any super speed or anything like that, because she was fighting all these cops and stuff, and she had to dodge them all, so she doesn't have super speed. So the blast might be coming out of her fist at faster than speed of light, but her reaction time of moving her arm and moving herself should not be faster than speeding of light. He should have been able to just easily zip around, dodge it, and before she realizes he's dodged it, he's already punched her and knocked her out, right? So that's one thing that they should have done, even at his half speed, not faster than her blast, but faster than her. So that's one thing that they should have done. And then we end the episode, like I said, with Iris getting a new intern and stuff. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go. I really like the way things are going to go with this. Can't wait to check out episode of Arrow. I haven't watched that yet. They're episode 1 of season 8, so that'll be cool to watch right after this. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Okay, Kyle has a YouTube channel called Kyle Reviewed. It's about Marvel, and DC. I happen to know a little bit about DC since my initials are DC. All right, so if you like Kyle's interviews and videos and reviews and everything like that, then like and subscribe. If you don't like them, well, maybe you're just not a comic book fan.